Yeah, this is a mature male Hysterocrates crassipes. So the only crassipes mature males I've seen have been a lot smaller than this one, so this one's quite big. So yeah, I thought I'd just show you it. Oh, he's just reacting to my voice, I think now, look. Or he is even. Oh, yeah, he's a bit flighty at the minute. I just want to hopefully get some good footage. But you can see the larger tibia there, look. I think on the gigas mature male it looks a lot slimmer. So let's have a little try and get him to open up a little bit. Yeah, he's a bit. Oh, there we are. That's better. But you can see the hairs on the back of the legs that are much more fuzzy. I think on gigas they're not quite as hairy. On the metatarsus down there. So just along there on the metatarsus of crassipes it's a lot more hairy. But gigas it isn't as hairy. Yeah. But yeah, look, you can see the carapace is like a little bit smaller compared to like the size of the length of the legs and the thickness of them. So that's sort of a good indicator of it being crassipes. Plus I know it is crassipes. But yeah, you can see how long that sort of leg 4 is there. And so yeah, it's pretty he's a pretty big one for crassipes anyway. I've never seen one as big as this. So I'll just try and get a gigas out just to show you. Yeah, like the female, the leg 4 in crassipes is a bit longer. You can sort of just about see it in this male, look. But yeah, I've managed to get a gigas out. I mean, the metatarsus you see is quite, it's hairy, but like you can see that on the crassipes, the metatarsus is a bit more hairy. So that's one of the distinguishing features that Pocock mentioned. But on the gigas, it doesn't look quite as hairy. But yeah, this is a really small gigas male I've had mature out. Look. You can see the leg 4 isn't quite as long. It doesn't sort of arch up as much as it does in the crassipes, you see. But yeah, that's one of the features, and you can probably, I mean, I know they're different sizes, but the tibia is a lot thicker in crassipes. In gigas, you can see it's a lot slimmer. I know they're different size spiders, but you can definitely see that the tibia is much thicker in crassipes. Yeah, so these are some pages from my research. So you can see on the left there the crassipes sketch of that's done by Andrew Smith shows like a wider tibia, and that the hairs on the metatarsus are a lot more abundant than in gigas. And you can see where Pocock's highlighted that in his work. Look. So that's obviously a crassipes that was found in Bagante in Cameroon. So that's probably like the locality of this species. I think on the website it also shows the gigas as well, so it's a slightly different area. I think it's on the red and the blue cross at the map at the bottom. So these are two equally sized sheds from crassipes on the left and gigas on the right. You can see the length of the leg in leg 4 is longer in crassipes over gigas, chunkier tibia. And you can see on the left crassipes, the tibia and perhaps even the patella is a little bit chunkier than in gigas. And it's a little bit sort of longer in crassipes. These two sheds were very similar size. So this is two spiders from Jose Berrios that I've added to my book with his permission, but that shows two equally sized specimens. You can see the difference in the form. They're two females. So it just shows two different species. Yeah, so you can see the gigas and crassipes leg 4 in more detail of those two larger specimens. Crassipes, when it gets a lot older, it tends to thin out, but through much of its life, the tibia is very, very big compared to gigas. So gigas, the leg 4 will remain sort of quite chunky, but it tends to thin out a little bit earlier in life than it does with crassipes. So you can see that's one of the good features to go by. Also the hairier metatarsus of crassipes. When I published my book, there's a lot more like details about the different species, but those two there are quite easy for the average hobbyist to see immediately, to be able to distinguish two species. I just thought I'd do that because I've seen a lot of different people trying to breed the separate species. Tends to be unsuccessful with the female taking the male, and I've seen people at shows and even reputable breeders at shows selling any Hysterocrates is whatever name that they feel that they can put on it, really, and it just seems a bit sad, and that they're sort of neglected. But I mean, there was some obviously work by Pocock that I pieced together, and it just all seems to make sense from what he's read and the information that I've got from Rick West and Andrew Smith, and other sources about the species. That all seems to build a bit of a picture into this mess of a genus. So yeah, I mean, hopefully you can take away anything you can from that and use it to your advantage and be able to identify the separate species. Because it looks to be that they are separate species, also found in different locations. So yeah, well, I've enjoyed presenting that to you, and I hope you've enjoyed watching that. Then, thank you.